Well, good evening, everybody. Hopefully we are getting a few of you join me. Let's switch over to that and then we can see. So it's telling me we're connecting, so that's always a good start. Yep, connected to Facebook and YouTube. Well, hey, my goodness, I had some trouble getting this organised today. Every time I did it, something was wrong with it. So it may have popped up and gone off and come back and gone off a few times on your Facebook and YouTube pages, but we are here now. So hopefully a few of you are there and you can let me know you're here and joining me, ready for our brand new release. Good evening, Amanda. I hope you're doing all right. Getting about with after the operation, fingers crossed. You were beaten in today, Amanda, just so that you know, somebody beat you. So how are things going? And YouTube, so we're on both. At the moment, Amanda, it's just you and I think. Oh, hi, Carol. Hi, Josie. I don't know about where you all are. You're doing Amanda's doing physio as I watch. Well, I suppose that's a good way of using up some spare time. Blimey, suddenly everything happened. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Linda. Hi, Trisha. Yeah, blimey, lots of you are coming in. Amanda, we're not on our own anymore. Good evening, Karen, and how are you? Hi, two Amandas together, you can't go wrong really, can you, Amanda? Hello, Heather. So where is everybody from? We had somebody from, I believe, the Netherlands last time, or Holland, 2623s, or somewhere over that direction, I believe, or was it Sweden? I can't remember. Hi, Tina. So it's nice to see where everybody's coming in from. Hi, Christine. Hi, Pat. Hi, Margaret. Hi, other Margaret. Oh no, Margaret waked poorly with a chest infection. You're the second person this week, Margaret, that said about that. I don't know where you are though. It's cold and wet. I am freezing today. I've been cold all day. Haven't warmed up. Hi, Hazel. I hope you're feeling a bit better. See, everybody's poorly. It's this weather, isn't it? Hi, Debbie. Suffolk. Whereabouts in Suffolk are you, Debbie? Right, so everybody's joining us for the exciting new release. Good evening, June. So we will get rid of this bit. Oh, not there, I won't. I will there though. So yeah, we've got some new goodies. First release of 2026. Can you believe we're into February already? And getting through that quick too. Good evening, Dawn. I think I need wellies to get from here to the next door. Bournemouth. Lakenheath, Debbie. Nice. Right, so here we go. So it's stamps. Good evening, Veronica. Ask your son about the amazing dinner I cooked last night. He was supposed to tell you and he forgot. And Sue's from Cambridge. Hi, Carol. Hope you're okay. Right, so it's brand new stamps because we've done dies and stencils. I think it was dies and stencils on the last release. So we are on stamps for this release. So we have 6 new sets. Should we get started? Let's flip over to this camera. Right, let's go. First off, we have our flower box. So this is one of our $9.99 sets. So roughly 6x4. Hi, Carol. Bring it up like that. That's better. So you can use this. Oh, bit of a bounce off the acetate, I'm afraid, but there we go. So you've got some lovely colouring in, or you could just do it on coloured paper. You could paper piece it if you wanted to. Just a little bit of fun. Good evening, other Tina. Good evening, Kathy. Good evening, Julie. Good evening, Carol and Carol. So that's our first one, our flower box. The second one is our classic floral. So I know you all love all these frames. Good evening, Maxine and Kay, Mum. I know you all love all these little ones with the frames and stuff in. So we've got another frame with just something a little bit different on the corners there. Hi, Helena, even. Hi, Jules. Hi, Debbie. So again, that's another one of our $9.99 sets. Then we have our geometric daisy. You know me, I love a daisy. So that's our I'm trying to do it so the lights aren't bouncing, but it's not doing a very good job, am I? And now we've lost focus on it. There, that's probably, if I bring the camera down to me, rather than me up to the camera, we might ditch the light bouncing off it a little bit. So that's our geometric daisy. Bear with me 2 seconds. If I switch the one overhead off, let's see if that makes a difference to our light bouncing. I don't think I normally have that one on. And then Beyond Daffodils is our next one. So a little bit of a take on the one that you've all loved so much that we still can't keep in stock very, very well, Mystical Bouquet. So we've got those circles, the lines, the extra little dots, but obviously our traditional daffodil in there as well. Carol, will we have the new stamps at Sandown? All being well, Carol, yes we will. It depends on stock levels really. Oh, I'm going the wrong way, I'm coming in too close. I needed to pull this out a little bit. So that's the answer to that. Hopefully yes, fingers crossed. And then we've got Bows and Blooms, another one of those frame ideas. And you've got On Your Special Day, sending you lots of hugs, wishing you a very happy birthday and a thank you on there. So this is one of our larger sets. So this is the $15.99 set. And this is roughly, let's have a look. I know it's definitely not wider than 4 inches. I lied. It's slightly wider. It's 4.5, 4 3/4 inches. And at its longest point, we're 6 inches. So ideal for a 5x7 or a square card, or it looks really good with the Connect the Dots die. Really nice for that. And then last but not least, our trio of bows. I love these. I have had so much fun playing with these. In fact, I've had to walk away from a couple of the demos I was prepping because they all had the bows on. I'm like, you can't just put a bow on everything for TV, Amanda. Good evening, Brenda. Good evening, Lynn. I'm here but watching on YouTube. Okay, so you've got us on both channels, Lynn. Lynn beat everybody in today. She was first in, I think, within 2 minutes of us launching them on Facebook this morning. So, not on Facebook, on our website this morning. So these are all available and ready to order on our website if you are after them. We have got limited stock, and our supplies, it's a busy time of year for everybody. This is the show season starts this coming weekend, so everybody's pushed to the max. So we've got some lovely samples from our lovely Helen and Hazel to share with you. So first off, we've got one from Helen, and using the trio of bows. She hasn't written on there what colour she's used, but I know she, oh, in fact, we are going to have to pull out a little bit because we're not going to get everything in. No, we haven't got the acetate. We can. So I know she uses Copic markers, so I would imagine it's those colours that she's used on there. We are going in and out of focus like a yo-yo. So I'm going to try and not do too much moving around. Oh, Carol, for those of you that... the daffodil stamp could be masked off the top of the stamp and it would look like it was in a vase. It would, wouldn't it? Nice. Give it a go, Carol. Let us know how you get on. So, yeah, we've got our trio of bows on this one. So this is the medium and the small set that's on there. Then we have one from Hazel. She's used black memento ink and also uses Copic markers quite regularly. The sentiment is from Balloon Corner, and she's used Versafine Tulip Red for the sentiment. Hazel loves this sentiment, and I never use it as much as I should really, because I think it looks really cool, and I love this stamp. And again, she's used the small ones and the large ones and stamped off the page. Hi Leona, I hope you will leave those rings at home last time. If those of you that don't know, Leona is from one of the other exhibitors at the shows, and she lost her engagement ring after she lost loads of weight, and I found it in the car park at Sandown Racecourse. Can you imagine? So another one from Hazel, and this one is using the gold embossing powder, and the sentiment is from Single Lilies. And again, that's all one level, and it would be a really nice card just to send something just because you can. Next, another one with the bows from Helen. Yeah, Helen. Trio of stamps and the Shining Star Sentiment. Again, she's coloured this with Copic markers, and I'm going to try and bring this in without it losing its focus. She has put embossing powder or glitter on here all over the sentiment, so it really sparkles, and it's just not catching it. I'm trying to get the light to catch on the sparkles, but it's really, really sparkly. It's lovely. Really clean, really simple. And actually, this is exactly what I had in my mind when I designed this set. I saw this and I was like, you could do it in any colour. I mean, Christmas, you could just maybe, it looks beautiful. In fact, do I show you? Can I grab something? Bear with me. I am coming back. I promise I haven't run away. I'm just looking to see if I've got a big... No, I haven't got a big one. But the idea, I'll give you an idea. I haven't got a big one cut out to hand. But look. But if we did it with the medium, I've got it in a medium, look. Do it with a medium bow. Just pop a sentiment on there. And you've got your Christmas wreath, look. Can't go wrong, can you? And the bows. I know the colours don't go particularly well, but you can stack them. So much you can do with this one. But I digress. I've come away from showing you the samples. That just came in my head and I thought I'll show it to you. Hopefully you're all hearing me all right again. Hi, Janice. So now we're on Flower Box. She's used Memento inks, Copic markers, brick wall stencil, birthday sentiment, and stamped in black Memento. This one's a lovely one from Hazel. So she's masked it off, so we've got a brick wall behind. Amanda has just said, look who's talking about Christmas now. I know, but I'm already starting to design my Christmas stamps, so say no more. So yeah, this one is the Flower Box set. Beautiful. I love the colouring. It's just clean and simple. If you're not great at colouring, it doesn't have to be difficult. I try really hard to show you as easy as possible, as many times as possible. Embossing will help you stay in the lines, but just take your time. That's the trick. Take your time. So we've got our brick wall stencil being masked off, and then that's stamped over the top. Then we have another one from Hazel, Flower Box stamp, again, Copic markers. Quirky floral stencil has been embossed on the background, which I'll show you in just a second. And then nesting hexagons, and the sentiment is from Colour Perfect. So here we go. I don't know if you can pick it up, but you can see the quirky floral stencil in the background there that she's put through the embossing, through a die cut machine, which embosses the stencil. And then this is the medium size hexagon, and then she's fussy cut really, and you don't have to cut this out perfectly because it all blends in. You don't even notice it. I wouldn't have actually thought about it being fussy cut until I've just looked at it, because you just don't see that it's fussy cut around the edges. You see the lovely colouring, you see the frame, but you don't see the fussy cutting. If you're not great at fussy cutting, don't go in and out of all of the little lines. Here you can see she's just literally gone around the edge of it, but leave yourself a little white edge, and that makes a huge difference if you're not great at fussy cutting. Amanda, I've just finished prepping what we're teaching for the workshop, and you've got a little bit of fussy cutting. I'm warning you ahead of time. So this one is from Helen, and she's used Flower Box and the sentiments from Bows and Blooms. Again, really simple. Doesn't need to be difficult. The stamp does everything for you. This is an 8x8 card, and it's all just there. Just a little bit of colouring, a little bit of time, nothing difficult. Right, so now we're going on to Geometric Daisy colour. This one's done by Hazel. It's a 7x7 card. She's used a dotty circle in the background. The sentiment is from Colour Perfect and stamped in black Memento. So she's kind of stamped off the page on both sides, and then the full one in the middle. Carol's treated herself for her birthday. Yippee! in bows. I'm intrigued, Carol. So when's the birthday? Carol, when is your birthday, Carol? I've got 2 Carol Bennetts and I'll never know which one of you I'm talking to. So this one is Geometric Daisy again, another one done by Hazel, coloured with Copic markers, squares and rectangles embossed on the background, and again the sentiment is from Colour Perfect. So if I come back in close again, you can see the stencil in the background. Funny enough, this is the combination I'm going to be using for tonight's demo, and I just wanted to say hello. Great reason to just send a card. Another beautiful one from Helen, and again the sentiment is from Bows and Blooms. It says it all for you. It's just a few layers of mirror card and the image stamped out perfectly. She has a white card base and she's got some cream linen behind here, and some smoother cream cardstock on the top that she's stamped on top of. Now this is another little trick. Now Helen and Hazel are both beautiful colorists. They have been doing it for a long time and they are amazing. If you can see, and I'm nowhere near as good as they are at this, and I do try, but I'm nowhere near as good. They ground it by putting either a really pale blue or a grey around the edge of the flower, and it kind of almost gives it almost a 3D look. So as I say, I'm nowhere near as good at it as they are, but it really does make it pop. And on a clean, simple card like this, it really pops. So now we're going on to Bows and Blooms. This is a 6x6 card done by Hazel. And again, she's coloured with Copic markers, and the sentiment is from Bows and Blooms. So it does fit on a 6x6 card. It's just coloured in. You just lose a little bit of one of the leaves at the bottom there. That's all you would lose. It is a really, really nice card. And again, all the details all there. So it's a completely smooth card. It would fit through as a standard letter. So not too expensive to post either. That's without any gems. Don't put gems on if you want to go standard letter. And another one from Hazel. This one's a 7x7 Bows and Blooms. Background is the spiral stencil. And the sentiment is also from Bows and Blooms. Again, Hazel has done some cutting out, but this works really well again. And can you imagine those bows on that spiral stencil at Christmas again? I know I'm going there. Good evening, Marianne. And she's done, again, that fussy cutting, the white edge, but you don't see it. When I brought that in, what did you see? You saw that stamped image. You don't see that it's been cut out. Hi, Kirsty. Another one, this one again from Helen, and she's used Bows and Blooms onto craft card. Helen's done a few of these over the years that she's been with us. I love Helen's craft card and brown pencils. So it's been stamped onto craft card with, and then white embossing powder. So the white you see on here is embossing powder, and then she's just gone in with a little bit of a brown pencil all the way around. Beautiful. I love it. Trying to straighten myself up for you. Martin always says I can't take straight pictures, and obviously can't hold cards straight either. Another one from Helen on this one. This is the last sample of this particular set. So Bows and Blooms again, and again, clean, simple, really pretty, and she's grounded it with that grey all the way around the edge of the flowers, so it gives it more of a 3D look. Beautiful. So now we are on to Classic Floral, a beautiful little card from Hazel. No, sorry, this one's from Helen. Helen? This one's from Helen. I just assumed it was Hazel. When I picked it up, Helen never does little cards. Classic Floral, and sentiment is from Shining Star. Clean, simple, slightly coloured in, and it looks like 2 different colours have been used, but when you actually hold it upright and look closely, it's the same colour all the way over. It's just because of the way it's shaded, and this one looks like it pops out. It really stands out, and then she's just popped the sentiment on there in gold. This one is Hazel, a 6x6 card again. Classic Floral, Memento, sentiment is from Bows and Blooms. And she's actually used it up the other way. So Helen has used it up this way, and Hazel has used it lengthways. So portrait, landscape. and it works either way. And then another one, this one is also hazel, 7x7, gold embossing powder. The sentiment is from Floral Wishes stamp set, and the background is using the quilted stencil embossed. So here we go. It's kind of, it looks quite blue on there, but it's quite a greeny colour. And if I bring it in, you can see the quilted stencil on here that's just been embossed through an embossing machine. Hello, Rosemary. You'll have to go back and see the new release, although we will go through the new release again before the end of the evening, if I remember. A 6x6 card, again from Hazel, with Beyond Daffodils for this one. I know daffodils, most of us always go sort of oranges, yellows, greens, but you don't have to. You can make it any colour. Remember, they're cards. They're not a true botanical drawing. I'm very quiet. Okay, Kirsty, I will make sure I talk a bit louder. Kirsty says, can I turn my sound up a bit? I'm very quiet. Well, my sound is actually up as far as it will go. It's me obviously just talking too quietly. So last week I got told, or last time I was told I was too loud. This time I'm told I'm too quiet. So we'll get there in the end, I hope. Another one again from Hazel. This is a 7x7 and it's called, again, using Beyond Daffodils. Copic markers. Sentiment is from Bows and Blooms. And she stamped this with Morning Mist Versafine, and the stencil is our Firework Burst stencil. Again, see how everything that we have in our full collection all work together. Just a couple more to go. So another one from Helen, and this is an 8x8 and Beyond Daffodils, and the sentiment is from Bows and Blooms. And again, just gold embossing powder, stamped, a thank you, a couple of lines on the edge there, and it looks like she's got a gold line in there as well. So simple, but so effective. You don't have to make them complicated. You don't have to colour everything in. Just a little bit of careful choosing of your embossing powders or something like that, and it's a completed card without a pen being seen. And then the last card to show you for now is another one from Helen, and Beyond Daffodil. Sentiment is from Bows and Blooms, and she's used the Rainbow Dots stencil. This is a style that Helen really likes. I really like this style. I go to this style quite regularly. So yeah, so she's used the Rainbow Dots stencil on the background here, and just a little bit of colouring in on those flowers and the sentiment that's been layered up. So that's all of the sample cards that you're going to get to see tonight. Done. Bosh. And I've just picked those up and picked up everything else that I shouldn't have picked up at the same time. There we go. I think that's it. We'll put that to one side now. Right. So who wants to get started on the demo for this evening? Now, those of you that don't know, when I'm talking to you, I have to put my seat really low, but I can't craft that low. So you probably hear a funny noise, and it's me raising my chair. So in we come with this. Okay, Sutton Rusty. If I'm right, that could be Carrie. Am I right? Hi all, watching live for once, still recovering. I don't know if I can bring this up on here and if it will get it all. Oh, no, it doesn't get it all on there. She says, still recovering from a chest infection. I'm loving the new collection. Can't wait to get mine. Will they be available? Or when will they be available? As missed the beginning of the lives. Thanks. They are ready and available on our website this evening right now. And here's the other Carol Bennett. So everybody's in now, I think. Elizabeth, thank you. Yes, the design team have done a great job. Our two ladies work so hard. Both of them have been poorly the last couple of weeks. Both of them are trying to sell houses as well at the same time. So bless them, they pulled out all the stops for me, and we couldn't do it without them, and I hope I tell them that enough. Right, so let's get started. What are we using? Oh, I've just chucked it all on here tonight. Normally I have it all laid out nice for you, don't I? I haven't tonight, sorry. Because I can't get everything on. We do need to stretch. Oh, wrong way. Need to come out that way a little bit. So, black and white cardstock as normal. We are using the squares and rectangles stencil. We are using Geometric Daisy and bows and blooms. I was really good and didn't do the bows tonight. Versafine Onyx Black, Distress Oxide and Seedless Preserve, and Dusty Concord. We've got our glue that comes in the 2 sizes, the 150. Yes, I thought it was Carrie. Sorry, comes in 120ml and 30ml. We're going to use our crystal clear embossing powder and the static bag if I remember. Obviously our blending brushes, these do come in 2 different sizes and they are in stock. All 3 sizes are in stock. I can tell it's the start of the year, can't you? Right, so, and the pens we are using. Blender 999. Which are back in stock again, ladies. Last time I mentioned it on here, everybody ran and bought them all, Amanda included. Bought it a lot. And they sold, we ran out again. So we now are back in stock and I bought double the amount. So hopefully we won't run out again. Pale Grey 097. Wine Red number 24. Yellow number 50 or 050. Bright Yellow 052. Lime Green 409. And Mid Green 046. So that's everything we're going to be using tonight. Now I'll put them to the side so that I can actually use them, which is always a bonus. I have prepped this ahead so that you haven't got loads of it to watch me do. But obviously you need to see me do some of it. It'd be boring if you didn't see me do some of it, wouldn't it? Let's put all of this out of the way. Right. Let's get going. Oh, and we're also using the Make Art Station. If you haven't already tried one of the Make Art Stations, they're a Ranger product. They are fabulous. I don't know how I ever did stenciling without. So, it looks scary, but it really isn't. So, we have got an A5 card blank. It's just a regular A5 card blank. If you haven't got any, if you haven't got any, it's an A4 piece of paper folded in half. So just use what you've got. And then we have also, now there are a few quirky sizes. It's just because you don't want a very big border around the edge. We're going to be cutting it up. So scraps of black cardstock would work fine. You don't have to have a perfectly square piece, but it's 6 5/8 square because our white piece of cardstock is 6 1/2, and it's just so that you've got just that tiny little border around the edge. But again, the border isn't a big thing. Amanda says 2 weeks till the workshop. Do you know what we're having for lunch? We have a rough idea. It's a buffet of sorts. It's not a completely full sit down meal, but yeah, it'll be there, and fingers crossed everybody likes it. It's a new venue, and talking of workshops, we do still have 2 places that have become available on our workshop that is in 2 weeks time. If anybody's interested, they are available on our website. So I've put scraps of paper in white and black just because you need to do some matting and layering of some strips in a minute. And those strips, the black card will do most, that black square will do most of it, but there may be a couple of other bits if you don't cut it perfectly. So this is just for the longer pieces, it's the right size, that's all. And it doesn't matter if the edges are not exactly the same. And then you also need some for your sentiments. And then the last but not means least, this is the piece that we're going to be stamping our beautiful geometric daisy onto. So this is 5 5/8 by 3 7/8 because your white card is 5 1/2 by 3 3/4. That's the only reason. If you want to round it up and have a slightly bigger border, you certainly can. So that's the most difficult part of the event, me telling you what you needed. Right, so let's grab these off here, and we'll get started. I have prepped some of this ahead, so obviously we don't have to watch me do the whole lot, but you will watch me do some of it because it wouldn't be much of a demo if you didn't, would it? So we're going to start with our card and our make art station. Grab your squares and rectangle stencil. Now the squares and rectangle stencil of them all is slightly smaller than the 7x7. It's nearer the 6.5. It would be a good men's card, Kirsty. Kirsty has said the flower box would be a good men's card. Yeah, it would. You could make it more of a gardeny type one rather than a floral one, couldn't you? Pop a spade or something like that. Right, so we are going in with Dusty Concord first. And here again is another little tip. If you didn't already know this, which it took me probably until this time last year to know it, the Distress Oxides lids fit underneath and you don't lose them and they don't take up twice as much space on your table. Just a little tip. So we're going to grab some ink and we're just going to rub that over. We're going to only using 2 colours, so roughly about halfway up on this stencil. Doesn't matter how heavy or light you go, it's your choice. Kirsty, just let me know that you're still hearing me okay. I'm trying to talk up a bit. I don't want to be shouting too much that everybody wants to turn me off, because that's not much fun either. I asked somebody earlier when their birthday was. They said they'd bought the bows for their birthday. I can't remember who it was. That's my age. I can't remember anything. Earlier, Martin said, can you bring me some peas over? And literally from walking from the kitchen to the back over to mine, I forgot the peas. Because I'd like to see who it was and tell them happy birthday again. So, Seedless Preserve. I think something came up, but I missed it. All the others flipped through. Kirsty, saved myself for the craft show in York, so we'll buy then. It would be lovely to see you at the craft show in York, Kirsty. I can't guarantee that we will have everything, but we will do our best. Right, so again, if you're not great at blending yet, stencils are a really forgiving way of learning your tool. Ah, Carol, it was you. I thought it was. And when was it? Did I see something about the 8th? Happy birthday for then anyway. This Sunday. Well done, Amanda. Happy birthday, Carol. I would sing to you, but you wouldn't want me to do that. And Christine Smith, love my artboard. Use it for most of my stenciling. Me too, Kirsty. Or Christine even. I wouldn't be without it now. It really is a complete game changer when it comes to stenciling. Oh, the amount of times I ripped cardstock right at the end. Debbie, if we have it, we will be bringing it. Yes. We have 2 shows this weekend, so we hope we've got enough stock for everything. Who knows? Lots of you have already found it on the website. So the nice thing about the Make Art Station is you can leave some stuck down or leave your magnets wherever you want them, and you can just lift it up to see if it's how you want it and they haven't moved. So that's a real perk for this. And also you haven't taped a stencil onto your cardstock that you're then going to rip. So that's the cardstock done. Pop that to one side. I'm just going to show you again, because I show you this all the time, but in case you miss it or you're new to our channel. To clean a stencil, piece of kitchen paper, or if you do it with tea towels and cloths or whatever, that's great. However you want to do it. For speed, for me, it's wet wipes and a piece of kitchen paper for when I'm showing this. It's not always that when I'm crafting on my own, but so pop your stencil on the top. You're just going to wipe your stencil over with whatever you usually clean your stencils with. And if you're like me and you used to do this, and then you flip it over and then you wipe the other side, and then you've got to wipe it again because it's wet on the other side, literally I just give it a quick wipe on the back, do that on the kitchen paper and that on the kitchen paper, and we're done. Dry, ready to go, without all of that extra mess that is going to be on your board. The only mess that's on my board is where I inked over the edge of my cardstock, and that's it. So we are then going to kind of find where to put everything down so that I don't put anything on top of anything. the next bit. That's it. You don't need your Distress Oxides anymore, so we'll get rid of those because I'll be quite good at sticking my finger in them and paper in them and everything else in them that I didn't want to. Seedless Preserve. So we're going to take our square now. Hi Sue. So we're going to take our square with stenciled squares and rectangles, and we're going to cut this into strips, random sizes, nothing particular. All I would like you to do, and you don't have to do it, this is just my choice, is you have two pieces that are roughly the same width at the end. And this is what you're going to be matting and layering with all that black cardstock. So again, you don't actually have to have that exact odd size that I had. You can make it whatever size you want it to be. I don't do random very well, as lots of you know. And I have a trimmer that's feathering all of a sudden at just one tiny little point. So I'm just going to take that extra little piece off. That won't make any difference. Susan, yes, we do sell them. They are on our website under tools, I believe. You may also find them in stencils. They're, I think they're £30-ish, something like that. But the best thing I have ever had. Right, so I've cut those all into strips. I don't want them all that length. I know I've got two here that are the same width, so I'm going to make sure those two are popped to one side. In fact, those are the two that I'm going to cut. I'm cutting down slightly anyway. So we're just going to do a random slice, and each one of these pieces you're going to layer up with black cardstock. What size did I cut that to? 4 1/4. So we'll cut this one to 4 1/4. Then I know those two pieces are the pieces I want. But other than that, it's just completely random, whatever size you want them to be. You can leave a couple of pieces longer. It works fine, however you want to do it. Hi Sue. So we've got all our pieces. You're then going to go in and you're going to mat and layer them. And literally, this is what I said, why I did a random piece, because the full length means that that's the full length. And you only have to cut one edge. That was my only reasoning for that. So you're going to take all those black pieces and you're going to make yourself matted and layered strips. Just trying to tidy up as I go so I don't make a huge mess everywhere. I just got to find somewhere to put these bits when I do that. Right. So we end up with these random strips, as I said. Other than the Bridgewater show this year, have not seen an advert for any adverts for tickets so far. Rosemary, no, they are not doing it as far as I'm aware. Certainly not in the winter. I don't think it really took back off. The first time it was great, but after the second show was not anywhere near what it should be for everybody, because it's a long way for a lot of us to travel. I mean, some of them even came down from Newcastle too. That's a big trek. So you're going to end up with something along those lines. Again, you're going to have whatever sizes you're going to have, because I don't want them to be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to pop those again to one side, and we're going to stamp out that fab image. So black Versafine anti-static bag, check me out. And I'm going to ink that stamp up. Lots and lots of little light taps. Ooh. Lots and lots of little light taps all over your stamp without putting the anti-static bag on your stamp usually is a better idea. Lots and lots of little light taps. There's no pressure on that. I'm not pressing it really down hard. And on this one, it's not such a big deal because it's quite open spaces. But if you've got a really detailed stamp and you press too hard, you put ink in all the crevices and you lose the fine detail of that image. So, apologies if my head goes in the camera. So again, it's a large stamp. Give it time to allow the ink to go to soak through. we have a perfectly stamped out image. I've buried the piece of cardstock I need. So white, crystal clear embossing powder over the top. The reason I do that is we're doing a little bit of colouring, and that will keep it in the lines, but it also gives you that really sharp, shiny image as well, which I really like. And last month, or last week, or last show, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, somebody asked, I think it was Amanda, do I only ever stamp in black? I do tend to only stamp in black. That is my choice. It's whatever colour you want to do it in. So I'm going to heat from underneath. Lots of you have, again, heard me say this, but the reason I heat from underneath is because it stops the embossing powder jumping around too much. It will give you a smoother finish if it's a bigger space, or along here, because I want to colour in any embossing powder that jumps into the spaces I want to colour, you will not be able to lay any colour down. It will stay white because the clear embossing powder will allow you to see that white through there. If you do try it this way and you're not great at it, be careful because it does get quite warm underneath, so mind your fingers. But you heat it exactly the same way as you would if you were heating from the top. Allow the powder to melt and move on. I think I've got everything. And that's that piece done. Give it a little bit of a wiggle. We will see you again soon, Christine. Have a lovely evening. Right, so we're now going to go on with some colouring. Now, because of my colour choices, my pens were quite difficult to get something to match to it. So I eventually came up with our wine red, which I'm going to scribble onto the mat. And then I know a few of you don't like this, but we're going to do it anyway. We are using the pale grey number 97. We're going to pick up a little bit of that colour, and we're just going to go in on the flower. So if I got a scrap piece of white to show you, obviously I have already coloured this in. I'll just do a couple of petals so that they're done. So we're picking up that colour. Hi Eileen. And you can see how close a match we got. Not bad. Again, pick up that colour. The darker I tend to take into the middle, and as I work this out from the centre, it lightens because the ink, the pink ink, it's picked up on onto the grey brush tip, wears away. So it will start to get slightly greyer as you go along. Those of you that can't see, Amanda has put on there pen contamination, yuck. No, she's put pen contamination, no. There is no cross-contamination on the colour. The colour all comes away. So long as you remember to wipe it and don't leave it, that colour that you've added on there will always come away. If you leave it, it won't. It won't necessarily stay in the brush, but the colour will stay on the end of the nib, particularly with the blending brush. You must remember to clean the end of your blending brush. So we're just going in, again, pick up that colour. And don't, if you noticed, I did just go in and wipe the nib on the cardstock, on the kitchen paper, even though I'm going in and picking up more colour. I don't want too much colour to seep through into the pen. That's the only reason I'm doing that. And you can gauge that, you can see that yourself as you're doing it. You can see where that colour is bleeding through to. And then last but not least, the last petal. So randomly, that was a grey and a wine red that got me the pink I wanted. Good evening, Auntie M. So blot that. Always, 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 always blot your cardstock when you are using embossing powder with these pens, because they spread a long way. You're going to go in, you're going to stick that down on a piece of paper, and you're going to flatten it out. And when you do that, that colour will spread, and you don't want that to happen. So we're going to go in again with some green. I'm not going to colour this whole thing, I promise you. I'm just quickly showing you. And the one petal I wanted to do was this big one, so I can show you a little bit of shading in there. The worst piece of colouring I think I have ever done just now, because I went over the edge and didn't fill in the bits on the other side. But you get my drift. It looks like I'm going to be colouring this whole thing in, doesn't it? Because we've just about done it. And the stem. I'm going to leave that quite red because I'm taking that as a bud, and its buds are always a little bit darker. Those pens are my next purchase, I think. These pens are the best thing I have ever had as crafter. There are two things that I go to all the time. My pen, or three. My pens, my Oxides, and that stamping, that magnetic board. And then in the centre, we have got bright yellow. I'm going to lay some colour down on my craft mat, and then I'm going to take the yellow pen and I'm going to pick that up. I'm just going to scribble all the way through that middle of that bud of the daisy. Remember, take your extra colour off your blending brush, or if your coloured, your contaminated brush, as Amanda called it. And then I've gone in over the top. Let me see, can I bring that down? Whoa, speedy in there, didn't I? That wasn't very nice. So you can see that I've gone in over the top of the colour I've done with a darker colour, and I'm just scribbling over the top. It tells you where to do that because you've got the black lines either side. So you're just going to go in and lay a little bit of colour down, and literally you've seen it, I've just scribbled it. And just in circular motions, just to spread it out so it's not so obvious. And that's all I've done. Go in, take your excess off your brush. Your other pen nib, oh, wrong way. We're going to pull back out. And then just to give a little bit of movement to the leaf, just one of the other greens. This one is mid green, I believe, yeah. Wherever those black lines are again that we've added into the leaves, just going in with the pen. And again, you can see I'm not being at all delicate, just laying down a little bit of colour. If you wanted, you could go back in with your original green over the top of that, but I tend not to. Just leave it as it is. And again, remember, go in and blot. That's your coloured flower. Now, I say this all the time. When I've embossed, I like to try and leave it for a little while. If I can, great. If I can't, then I tend to put it onto foam pads. But I do try and leave it for a little while. It just allows the paper to relax. Here's one that I did this afternoon, and the paper's relaxed. It's flat. It's not curved. It's not got any... Can you see? Don't know if I can make it obvious on the... See, we haven't got the wiggle that this one's got. Just by leaving it for a little while. And again, I used that pale grey. I am no expert at this. I used pale grey 9097 to just go around the edge of my flower. And you can only just make it out, but you could go darker. You could make it a better colouring in, or marks, whatever you want to call it, a better shading. But I'm no artist when it comes to colouring like that. So some of our ladies do a fabulous job, and I do not profess to be as good a colourists as they are. They are beautiful. Right, so we've got our sticky glue. We're just going to stick our topper onto here. And giving ourselves a little border all the way around the edge. Stick that down. So all those pieces we did before, as I said to you, they are not perfect. Some have got really narrow pieces, layers around the edge. See the colour of my hands? Look. Just use up your scraps. You just want a little bit of black to pop. So we're now going back to our card base. I'm going to roughly lay out where I want these to do. Now think about your card, your topper. I'm basically going to mimic what you see on here. They're my two pieces that I wanted to keep the same, but I am going to maybe offset them slightly. I don't know yet. but it does not all have to be perfect. I'm going to have a bit that comes out the bottom as well. But just roughly lay out where you want them to be, and then you're going to pop this on top, so that gives you a little bit of room to work out where you want things to go. You can also pop them on top of each other. There's nothing that says you can't layer them over the top. This is a short piece, so you're only just going to see it stick out of the top. This is a short piece, you're only going to see it stick out of the bottom. As long as it's wide enough. You can get your design in. Something along those lines. And if you want more, put more. And they don't even have to be up the same way, same colours. None of it has to be perfect. I think that's where we'll stay. Kathy says you need a steady hand to go round with a grey pen. You do need a steady-ish hand. The reason I didn't go so dark with the grey is because I don't have a particularly steady hand when it comes to going around the edges. So don't panic if that bit isn't great for you. So now we're just going to go in and stick all of these pieces down. All that you really need to sort of look at is either make them definitely not straight or try and get them as straight as you can. Don't try and go half and half because it will look a little bit odd. It's literally placing them where you want them to be. No right, no wrong. You could do it with just 2 in there or just those 3 and it would still look quite funky. You could do it off to one side. You can do so much with this style. I think it's quite effective for something a little bit different. Gone all quiet on you, didn't I? That was not good. When you're supposed to be talking about a demonstration, you don't go quiet really, do you? Now these last couple of pieces, I want them to, I'm going to switch that one up and turn it around the other way. I want them to stick out beyond the card, beyond the topper. So I might just pull them out a little bit further. So I'm not pressing those down too hard yet. Now, if I can get away with it, I will move that up a little. And I'm going to put a piece up there because I think it needs it. There we go. I'm going to go with that, I think. Yep, we'll go there. You just got a tiny little bit peeking out of there, but it's still quite cute. Pop your ink on the top. Okay. And then I've got the sentiment that I did from the Bows and Blooms, which says, "Thank you." and I've popped that onto some foam pads. We're just going to take that off the edge here. Remember that little trick I always say, stick a little bit of glue on your foam pads because it gives you a bit of wiggle room. Take heed of that for this. Go in there because I wanted you to still be able to see that piece. And then you've got these little scrappy pieces here, and I always say carry it in through the inside of your card because I always think it looks so much cuter. If you do, it makes it become a finished card rather than a homemade card, I think. So take those scraps that you've got left over. Pop them on the inside. Pop a sentiment or whatever you want in there, and that is your card done. Really simple. Now you may see this on TV next week. You may not. But hopefully you've enjoyed that card. And it's easy. All I did that you didn't see me do was layer up the black. The rest of it I've done from start to finish. So simple as to make. And carrying that extra bit through is really sweet too. I really like that. Right, so let's run over quickly what we've used, and then we'll go back through the new bits. Just for those of you that joined us a little bit late, you'll get to see them. So we've used our black cardstock and our white cardstock. We've used the squares and rectangles stencil. Why this keeps going in and out of focus, I do not know. This is a new set of stamps, the bows and blooms. The other new set of stamps we're using was Geometric Daisy. We've got our anti-static bag, and we've got Versafine Onyx Black, crystal clear embossing powder, Seedless Preserve and Dusty Concord, the sticky glue that comes in the 2 sizes, the stencils. Look, I'm running out of space. Not the stencils, the brushes, blending brushes. And then the pens we used are number 46 mid green, number 409 lime green, bright yellow 052, yellow number 50, pale grey 97, wine red number 24, and 999 the blender pen, which are now all back in stock. So I will quickly run through those new stamps with you one more time, and then we're just about done. Just a few things to talk to you about. So it's the best way, I think. So we have got Beyond Daffodils. Let's bring it down a little bit. Classic Floral, the Flower Box, that way around, Geometric Daisy, which you've just seen me using. We've got our Bows and Blooms, which is our $15.99 sets, and then last but not least, our trio of bows. Amanda says, lovely demo, might prepare background bits before Daisy arrives. Amanda, I believe yours has already shipped today. Martin was on the ball today. So you may get it in the next day or two. So that's the new sets for February. We have new stuff coming out in March, new stuff coming out in April. So watch this space. Hi Heather, thank you very much. So right, let's come off this, and you can get to see me now. Look, see, this is what I say to you. I'm too high now. I'll chop my head off. I'll have to slouch. Right, so what do we need to tell you about? Our next, the new stamps are now all available on our website. Grab them while they're there is all I'm going to say. The speed that they've gone out today has blown me away. So thank you all very much. I'm glad you like them. So next Facebook Live is the 19th of February here. And then, so what else do I need to tell you about? We have got TV on the 12th, which is a week today, the Thursday, and I believe it's 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock we're on. So yeah, there'll be lots of demos and exciting things to share with you there. we do also have back in stock the Connect the Dots and the Star Shining Stars stencils, stamp alert dies, and the nesting hexagons are all back in stock again. So they will also be on the show. So that's 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock next Thursday, the 12th. Then this coming Saturday, you will find us at the Excalibur Papercraft Show at the Motorcycle Museum. That opens at 10 AM. And then on Sunday, you will find us at the Sincerely Yours show in Leigh, Greater Manchester. So we're in Birmingham on Saturday and Manchester on Sunday. Then the following week, the 15th, I believe it is, Craftorama in York at the York Racecourse. Then we have our workshop in Bury St Edmunds on the 21st of February. Again, we have those 2 spaces that have become available. If anybody would like to join us, the 2 ladies that can't come would love you to take their places. Then we're on Sandown the 27th and 28th of February. All of which we hope to have all of the new stuff with us. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping we've got enough in. That said, those of you that are coming to the workshop in February, the supplies list will be out next week. And that's it. If anybody's got any questions or anything they would like to ask us, you can email us on honeydewcrafts@gmail.com, or you can catch us through our Facebook pages, YouTube pages, or you can go onto our website honeydewcrafts.co.uk, and it will automatically, there's a bit on there that you can contact us, so you'll be able to do it through there. What else do I need to say? It's coming across the bottom here. Like and subscribe on our Facebook and YouTube pages. We would really appreciate if you did do that. The more likes and subscribes we get, the more people get to see us, and the more people get to know about our channels and get to watch and enjoy, I hope, all of our Facebook and YouTube lives. As I say, everything's available to get on our website now. Hope you all have a fabulous rest of your evening, and we will see you all again very soon. As I say, TV the 12th of February and at 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock, and then our next Facebook Live